you gotta ask. It's so sad when you ask the world for help and no one even cares what you go through. They sit and watch how I express that I'm homeless and need money, but nobody will help. And when I'm doing good, making videos and doing what makes me happy, people don't like it, people don't share it. I share stories for people's families who got murdered, people who got shot, and they don't need to share the shit, and it's about them. And what makes me so sad is everybody peeks and they silent. And when they see you down and don't have shit or nowhere to go or no one to depend on, that's when they show you fake sympathy and they want to give you a like and tell you shit gonna be okay. But they could have helped you to prevent this, but this is what they want to do. They want to see you fail. But I want my haters to know, yes, I don't even use that word, but I want y'all to know that I will never be down for long. And when I fail, that's a good thing because it gives me the courage to get my ass up and don't depend on nobody and get back. And as long as I got a job, I'm straight regardless. But this is so sad. So let me tell you about my morning starting at 6 a.m. First, I'm going to give you a 1-minute recap. Many of y'all know that I've been on a homeless journey where I left my job building transmissions, took a leap of faith the same day I became an entrepreneur. My family went against me with law system after I was drugged through a drink by a police officer, which caused for me to be stripped from everything, to silence me, walk away from what was left. I took a leap of faith, changed my number, moved to Atlanta. The experience was not going there, so I ended up going to Dallas. In between that, my manager ended up canceling my transfer and causing me not to be at work for about 3 weeks, which they reinstated me my job and my pay of $1,360, which I used that money to move to another city where I then had experienced a hurricane and things went back downhill. So, things been shaky. Mind you, I had made part 2 video and nobody donated to me, so I had reached out to the Salvation Army last week and asked did they have any beds. They were making accommodations for me, but the day the supervisor called me was the first day that I started work, and also my phone got cut off that day, so I couldn't call her back. And I had to make a mini sacrifice to just go to work because one of my roommates had also paid for my room fee that week when others didn't when I asked people in the video. So I was just getting more support from my roommates than anybody in this world. Oh, and my son. I won't ever forget my second son, Corjay. I love C Money Honey because he's going to make sure mama okay wherever he can. But they ended up helping me, and my roommate ended up taking me to the Salvation Army. They told me they didn't have any room for me and that a repairman was coming in and they were going to try to make more accommodations for me today. And they ended up sending me to a whole different shelter that wasn't even a shelter no more. And as you can see, my face was getting livid. Right across the street from this old place that they sent me to that's not even a shelter no more. As you can tell from the look of my face, I am so over it. I have to walk with all these heavy bags and I just couldn't take anymore. I walked right across the street from that shelter and just spoke my mind of raw and uncut feelings of how I feel that I don't show the world. I am not okay. This is not right. I quit my job. I quit my job. I quit my job. Building transmission. I made it to middle class. Just to become an entrepreneur. And to become an activist and social advocate for my state. Were greatly unjust. I was supposed to be convicted as a felon, lost a baby in jail, didn't seek medical assistance. I represented myself as my own lawyer, filled out my own paperwork for them to tell me the charges was dropped without prejudice. Only they kept the prejudice for 4 years and did not compensate me because I had no money for a lawyer and no one would take me on pro bono. They dragged my son in the juvenile system. They got away with that shit. They sent my son home DKA 800 sugar level with ketones. They get away with that shit. They left me in my home to die. The paramedics refused me services, and I almost died getting cut with a scalpel. These acts are not okay. And I said, you know what? Ohio don't have an activist. Somebody got to be the voice. I quit my job. I put the city and state on my back. Oh, you motherfuckers don't support shit. I have no support from my family or my community. And because I call my family out because they're very dark. They go against me with the police after Officer Jackson just drugged me. They may not have known he drugged me through a drink and it wasn't their business because I did not talk to them. But everything I speak out against fell on me in one day. And for y'all to know that I was drugged through a drink by a police officer and did not share the shit and still will not share the shit or even nothing that I even just made to bring awareness to Ohio is sickening. And this is why people don't help people in poverty. Like, I left poverty. I could have said, fuck it. And not give a fuck about nobody down that motherfucker. But because I care about the teenagers and the young youth, because they have nobody. And that's why these young adults keep getting pregnant when people commit suicide. Just say fuck it. Because no matter how much shit they go through, when they see you the strongest motherfucker and shit don't affect you and you become unbothered and you stand up for yourself, that's when the army begin to attack you. Not only did I fight the whole government system of Ohio by myself, but my family, they turned against me as well. All because I made it out of poverty. I started writing books. I started doing better. I started speaking out against people like them, dark motherfuckers. And that's where the attack come. Just to strip me from everything, to make me be quiet. The day I become an entrepreneur. And y'all wonder, like, why people just say fuck it and just give up. Because shit never changes and nobody ever do shit to even want to change. Y'all have this toxic ass shit. I got so much knowledge that I bring to the world for free. I could be putting that shit in my books, getting money off of what I bring to the table. I do this shit for love. But people who don't even love me back. People commit suicide because they keep going through shit like this with not only their toxic ass families, but they keep getting unjust under the law system who's supposed to protect us. I thought I could be safe with this police officer who asked me on a date. This man only cared about what I posted on my YouTube and my spirituality. That was it. And for him to get away with it and the detective to just refuse to call me back, answer my text messages, see me in person, after writing a statement, after he took my phone in his custody for a whole hour, tapping my shit, he decided to just blow me the fuck off and let his officer drug women. When is it ever okay for an officer to date rape a woman? And there's so much more to that story. Just look at that in 2020. When I first had contact with Officer Jackson. From 2022, when he just popped up in my neighborhood out of nowhere, talk about he a new cop 3 minutes down the street from me. Claim he see me in traffic, and then I don't remember shit. I don't remember certain parts of the day. My coat got lost that night, and he gonna text me a picture of my coat saying R.I.P. to your jacket. I didn't remember getting in a car or even going to a hotel. They could have pulled them cameras. They could have put the cameras in that bar. I didn't even remember leaving out of the bar. Like, if it wasn't for my son telling me he spoke to me when I guess I was drugged, I wouldn't even realize I was drugged. I just kept thinking, like, why can't I remember certain things? And it just wasn't clicking, because when you just think you can trust somebody, you wouldn't think, the words, it'll cross your head, but you're like, nah, that person wouldn't do that. And the more I kept trying to think, I just couldn't remember certain parts, and then I started just questioning things. Why would my jacket be? Okay, after screaming, crying, let my feelings out, I just decided to grab all my heavy bags, go back to a train station, and this time I didn't even get mad at the universe. I was so disrespectful. Part 2 episode of me being homeless, where I had to go back and just really apologize to Mother Earth and appreciate, where the universe was taking me in that moment, which kept me in the house. And this time I was like, okay, if I may have to sleep outside, I'm sleep on a bus stop in front of the Salvation Army, because it's right in front of their building and I will feel comfortable. And I didn't want to bother this landlord because, like I said, he was not reaching out to me. He was ignoring me. And today I just had to leave. It was a part of the agreement, and I didn't want to reach out to him anymore. And as I'm on the train, that's where I didn't even have internet, but I guess the train did. And I seen a brief little message come in saying, your host is willing to negotiate with you. Your move out date is not until the 16th unless you pay your balance. And guess who get paid this Friday? So I won't be needing any support for anyone unless you guys just want to help me out. But I would never ask nobody to help me. I like moments like this, because when I get that anger and aggression out, it only makes me go harder and makes me know that I'm not going to do this no more. And right when I told the man on the train that I was never going to go through this no more is when I got that message stating that I can go back home. So I want you guys to know, even in the midst of adversity, when nonstop challenges, you don't see the ending of nothing, doors keep closing. Because I kept asking God, please let me in this door at the Salvation Army. They kept me on the porch. Then the supervisor was like, Jocelyn, I'm gonna let you come in, sit in the lobby until we could work something out. Unfortunately, they couldn't work nothing out. They told me give them a few hours. And you know what? I just called them and told them never mind. Thank them. But I also want them to give it to someone who could really use it, since I was able to get my place back. And as y'all can see, yes, I'm walking back home. Oh, and shout out to my supervisor, because he been giving me endless hours to help rebuild myself and understanding of my situation. That's why I love my new state, my new employment, my roommates, and just my new beginnings. And make sure y'all take these sleep of faiths. They ain't never gonna be easy, but there's always lessons to learn. And if you want something, you gotta get out there and get it, take risks, sacrifices. And I know that this civil lawsuit mine. And if nobody gonna help me get it, I'll get it on my own. I'll learn it my own. I'll represent myself again, but I'm gonna get my justice.
He says to me, I'm going to have the kids hug her before she crosses the line. And I said, don't do it. She wants to win, mate. She could be first place. And he said, no, the hug is more important. She ignores the kids. She finishes. She wins. She doesn't go to the kids or the husband immediately because she's in her zone. And afterwards, she says, look at me. She looks me in the eye, said, sometimes the people closest to you are your biggest enemies. They want you to lose. And I said, don't say that. She said, haters.